Welcome to Quick Tips for Thinkorswim. I'm Connie Hill. Today's quick tip is how to add studies to your charts. What we discussed today is for information and educational purposes only. Don't consider it a recommendation of any sort. When you initially come into your charts, this is how they look. They've got a black background, we've got candles, we've got red and green coloration to those, and then we have volume down here at the bottom. Let's show you maybe how you might adjust and add studies here. Now, initially, I'm going to go into the chart settings here, and I'm going to select on equities. I've got Apple as our stock here, and the volume bar that we're seeing down here at the very bottom is controlled up here, where it says show volume subgraph. I'm actually going to uncheck that. We're going to put in a different volume, has a little bit more useful information. All right. Next, we're going to go to this beaker or flask. This is where we can go to the Edit Studies. I'm going to select on this. And as I do, any study we've selected already is showing, which there aren't any. On the left are a boatload of studies for you to choose from. Promise you'll never use all of them. But let's go ahead and put on some very common ones. Now, if I was looking for a simple moving average, I could scroll down here to the S's and then scroll kind of slow, or I can just start typing in the name if you know the name. So I get an SIM, and yeah, we do see the simple moving average. Now I can highlight it and say add selected, or I can double click. Either way will bring that study on. We are going to change the defaults here. To do so, we can either double click here or select on the gear. The default period is 9, so we're going to change this one to 50. That's a good intermediate moving average. Down here on the bottom, we're going to make it thicker. I'm going to make it a 4 instead of a 1, and then I'm going to change the color to red. Now, we're going to do the second moving average, and we're going to make a 200-day. That's a pretty common longer-term moving average. Again, we're going to make it thicker, and we're going to change its color to green. Now let's add some additional studies that could be fairly common. Let's add RSI. And so with RSI, I am simply going to start typing in RSI, relative strength indicator, and I'm going to come on, highlight it, double click, and it puts it down here into a lower study. And what you're going to notice here is that the simple moving averages came into this grid area called price, which makes sense. That's where we'd want to see moving averages. So it's going to put it in a separate pane here, the RSI. And then let's do ADX as well. Double click on ADX, click on the gear. Let's make this a 4. We'll say OK. And actually this RSI, I'm going to change one other thing here. I need to come down and personalize it, make it a 4. And I don't like gray on this one, so we're going to get a lovely purple. All right, now we've got our studies selected. If we want to adjust the order, say the ADX and the RSI, I could, if I wanted, just move the RSI down. You're going to notice it actually put it below, moved it down so it's in the same pane, this lower pane together. And you might not usually want to see that, okay? So I'm going to click and drag. And I'm just going to move that RSI, and you can see now it has its own little pane where it shows lower. Now we're going to add one other thing because volume really can be helpful. So I'm going to come out here, and the volume I'm going to type in, there's a lot of volume indicators, is volume A for average because it puts a moving average on there. So the default is 50, which is fine. And I'm going to come to the volume average tab there. And that's where I'm going to make it thicker. I'll probably just do a 3 on that one. And you could change 50 periods is fine as the default, or you could change it to what you would like. We're going to say OK, and Shazam, we've got our studies. Now, you may set up your study set and it looks just the way that you like it, what you're used to seeing. Many times people might want to save that so they can go back to it, or have multiple different groupings of studies. So we're going to save this. There's a couple of different choices to do so. We could come over here to this icon that says studies and a little beaker, and we could select save study set and give it a name. Whatever name, you know, if you want to say this is your favorite, whatever you want to call it. I have a tendency to name them what studies are actually in there. Now I could go ahead and hit save and it'll have my favorite there. The other choice you have is to save it as a style. If I select on style and save style, let's talk about the difference here. Style means that it's going to include with it other things than just the studies. Would select on this box to make sure to grab the studies, but it'll capture the black background, the fact that it's in a grid, that the candles are red and green. It has the same look. It's for a time period of a year up here. And so it'll capture all of that information as well. I'm not going to save it right now, but what you would do, give it a name. Again, you could call it your favorites. Now I'm going to say favorite black so I know what the background is. And then I could go ahead and hit save. Make sure you've included the patterns and study set. Now, you've got a couple of different options available to you when you're ready to start organizing your favorites studies.